Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. This is Adrian Danila, and this is Multifamily Chronicles podcast. Uh, Welcome to the show. My guest today is Chiccorra Connor. Welcome to the show, Chiccorra.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Chiccorra, you are the founder at Occupancy Heroes.
Correct.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about the Occupancy Heroes, and please tell us a little bit about yourself, about your background, professional, personal.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see. If you were to Google me, you find that I'm the CEO and founder of Occupancy Heroes Incorporated. But I am so much more than that. I am a very happy wife, a mother, a grandmother, would you believe? A charlatan, a woman of integrity. I champion affordable housing. I'm an advocate for diversity and inclusion, and I have a passion for helping others to succeed. Occupancy Heroes Incorporated was founded in 2003. We incorporated in 2005. And basically, we make money. Okay. That's what we do. We help owners to improve and maintain their occupancy rates. And when we first started, our heart, our core, and it still is, of Occupancy Heroes is increasing occupancy. We do it 2 to 3 times faster than companies are currently doing it on their own. So that includes the leasing, marketing, and training. Back in 2005 is when we took a step back and we incorporated, because we said, you know what, we're leaving money on the table for our clients. And when we did that, we brought on our compliance specialists, we brought on our staffing division, our maintenance heroes division, which is all things maintenance. So it's a full service. It's a total solution for the multifamily industry. We also teach and train, and I'd say we're community builders. So we're bringing people into the industry and helping families.
Chiccorra, you have an amazing background and amazing story. Thank you for sharing with us, with the audience. I want to ask you, what does it take to be a successful entrepreneur?
What does it take? Oh my gosh, Adrian, what doesn't it take? It takes so much. It takes a strong desire and ability to follow through. It takes knowing when and how to pivot. Okay, let's look at COVID, right? You got to know how to pivot. It takes a strong person, a person that is unwilling to give up and remain unwavering in their pursuit of success. It takes a very, very creative person that's going to remain steadfast in their beliefs. So it most definitely takes a lot. I don't know what it doesn't take to be a successful entrepreneur.
Chiccorra, I would like for you to go back a little bit and just give us more insight of some great things that are happening at Occupancy Heroes currently. Currently? What are some exciting things that you would like to share?
Oh, goodness. So we've got a lot going on. Let me see. Let me pick one. So let's see. One thing worth speaking about, and I'll talk about it because it's happening like right now in the present moment, people are moving, is our apprenticeship program and our training division. So we just added another training facility in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's about 4,000 square feet. It is awesome. It's got separate training rooms for every trade, and it's going to be amazing. So that's a big thing. We are actually setting those rooms up right now. We've got currently we have a space that is literally set up like an apartment. So you go in, you walk into the living room, the bathroom, all that. And so now we've got it spread out, and we'll be able to host more classes, get people trained and certified. So that's what I'm excited about right now.
So you basically built a mock-up apartment inside your facility, right? And and your trainees are doing real life training. They're actually working on the stuff that they will be working in the apartments when they do the work. That's absolutely. That's amazing and very exciting.
Thank you. Yeah, we got classrooms too. So it's both hands-on and it's classroom style. And we take them outside of the classroom too. And so they're working out in this world.
I tell you what, next time I'm in Charlotte, I would love to make an extra couple of hours to come visit with you at the facility.
Absolutely. Listen,
Maybe,
we've been trying to make it happen, but we got to make it happen, Adrian.
yeah, maybe we do a video. Maybe I do a video with a presentation of your facility, because
I'd love it.
always always get excited, especially when it comes to all things maintenance. Because as you know, my background is in maintenance mainly. I started as a groundskeeper, worked my way up, and one thing that our industry really suffers from is the lack of personnel, first of all. But it's not as simple. It's not as simple. I don't want to simplify things. It goes, it goes beyond that. It goes, what is it causing? The shortages of personnel, of qualified. And then, of course, there's pay, there's work environments. But one important thing that's out there that, our industry is not really talking about enough is that we don't grow our own.
Yeah.
Do you disagree?
Oh, I agree. I agree 100%.
And for a company like yours to come up with supplying this piece, which is like growing talent and providing that as a support for the industry, that's something phenomenal. So that's something that I'm very passionate about, and I would love to advertise. I would like to, just get the word out with the public. Hopefully, more companies will follow, whether they're management companies or on a vendor supplier side, because we need this badly. We need it very, very bad.
Absolutely. We do. We do. I mean, look at where we are today. So, yeah, for sure.
Chiccorra, you're also a national speaker and you're very involved with the National Apartment Association. I would like for you to share with the audience some of the great apartment industry programs and initiatives that you're involved with.
Well, you're right. I am very involved with the National Apartment Association, and I am heavily involved in the NAA's D&I program. I play a large role in the webinar series, and I helped to get that off the ground in 2020 while we were dealing with the pandemic and everything else that was going on in the world. And that was hugely successful. It came in, that webinar series came in only second to the pandemic webinar series. So that was huge. I'm also very involved in careers, of course, right? Because I'm all about careers. And I've been involved in membership. As far as the D&I program, when we first started and getting things on the website, we had a piece in there for best practices, the white page for best practices. Occupancy Heroes wrote up some stuff, and it was there for all of the members to pull. I'm also a mentor because I love mentoring, and I have had great success with the mentees that I've worked with NAA, and that, I mean, it's so much. it's a lot to speak about, but for sure, for anybody listening, get involved, get involved, get involved. It's going to make the world a difference.
What does it take to become a speaker, a public speaker, Chiccorra? What do you think are some traits or some characteristics that you got to develop or work on to become a speaker?
To become a speaker, you got to get out of your head. Okay, that's one thing. And it takes practice. I know it's crazy. People are thinking, what? I've got to practice to speak, but in fact, you do. I went through a train-the-trainer course, and I believe, let's see, it sure is. That's the only course that I ever went through. I was speaking, and it was at one of the associations, and I found out that I was saying, oh my gosh, what was the word? Oh gosh, I forgot. You know how some people say and and I was saying a word. I cannot remember the word that I was saying. I think it was I think it was, you know what I'm saying? That's what it was. It was, you know what I'm saying? Everything I said was like, you know what I'm saying? So with that being said, you have to be critiqued. Don't just step out there on stage because you want to keep a person's full attention. It takes a lot of preparation. When we're speaking, we put a lot into it. People don't realize that you want to come with some good data, something that people can really, really walk away with. So, for a 45-minute presentation, it may take 3 to 4 hours of preparation. So it takes a lot, but it's worth it because you're educating the masses.
You're making an impact, and that's really part of I think what we crave the most as human beings. Legacy is what we leave
That
behind.
is correct.
Is what we
That
leave
is
behind.
correct.
Because
That's correct.
our time on this on this earth is limited. No matter what we do, we're not gonna be around forever. And the way we pass this along is to to our children, and then through the people that we influence their lives. So this is definitely a wonderful way to do it, to build legacy, right?
And that's right. And if you've ever heard me speak, or even on my social media pages, I speak about creating legacy and generational wealth and things of that nature. It's extremely important. When you Google your name, what do you see? What does your family see? So those things are important for sure. I speak about Dr. Jackie. She created the foundation, right? If you go to and I cannot believe I just forgot it, the Alex Jackie, is that what it's called? Gosh, but it's a scholarship that she helped create for the NAA. And so it helps to educate people, it finances and, funds them getting their CAM and different things of that nature. And that's important. She created a legacy for herself. She didn't just, say, okay, I'm the president, now I'm out. She's touching so many other people. And that's amazing. That's amazing.
Chiccorra, you're one of the most self-driven individuals that I've ever met. And I wanted to say for the audience, we never met in person yet, but we met. We've been part of certain events and programs together. So I feel like we met a long time ago. We met many times, even though we didn't meet in person.
Right.
I wanted to ask you, what does it drive you? What is your drive coming from? What does it drive Chiccorra?
Oh gosh, people. Plain and simple, it's people, and knowing that I'm making a difference in the lives of so many people. So that's it, plain and simple. That might be cheesy, but that's my reason.
Chiccorra, what would be one or more pieces of advice that you have for someone, a young person that's ready to enter the real world, to go out there, get their own apartment or get their own, house, get a job, enter the real world? What would be one or more pieces of advice that you have for a young person?
Well, number one, I'd say be authentic. Okay, don't conform to what others want you to be, and never stop learning. This world is hard, and you will have competition on every corner. Okay, it's not going to stop. They're going to be there. So just stay prayed up and be prepared. And I'm going to give you one thing that my father told me. Entering, like when I started Occupancy Heroes, my father said to me, he said, always make sure that you have 6 months of income in your account. Okay. Now, when I went out and I got married and all that funky stuff, he said, make sure you got 3 months to stay afloat. That's all of your bills. That will be your rent, your utilities, all those things. But he went deeper, payroll, everything. So to all the young people, make sure that you are secure. Adrian, you spoke about your first apartment, things of that nature. Make sure that you have the finances. Don't just step out there. Be prepared.
Have a backup plan.
That's right. That's right. Have a backup plan.
Leadership, Chiccorra. What pieces of advice would you have for someone that wants to move up into a leadership position, become a leader, become a successful leader?
Mm-hmm. Well, I would say to them to focus on themselves, okay? Work on building character and humility. Remember that we cannot lead anyone if we cannot lead ourselves. And we as leaders, we have to be able to look at ourselves and identify the positives and the negatives. So take a step back and look at yourself. I mean, to this day, I still go to family, friends, colleagues, and I ask them, okay, tell me something about me. What do I need to work on? And I need to be able to take that criticism because it's not always nice. Okay. It's not always nice, but I take it and I look at it and I see how can I improve. So before you can step into a leadership role, you've got to be able to look at yourself. You've got to be able to lead yourself. So that would be my first bit of advice.
Chiccorra, we touched a little bit at the beginning about the labor shortage challenges that we have in the industry. And this has been an issue for the industry of some magnitude before COVID hit. With COVID, things have accelerated. They have accelerated to a level that probably, if I had to just guess, and based on what I'm seeing, numbers and talking to people, we might be experiencing like employee turnover rates in the 70% range, and the staff shortages are just horrendous out there, especially at the site level. I would like to get your take on how do you think we got here, and do you think this is almost behind us? Is it gonna be around for a while? And then what can we do to actually make it a little less painful, to alleviate the pain?
Well, I'm gonna say this, Adrian, and it might hurt some feelings, but before I say this is what I'll say. I've been in this industry for a very, very long time. I mean, this is my legacy. We spoke about legacy. This is legacy. My grandparents, my parents, all of my siblings, my children, niece and nephew, we are all in this industry. Okay. And it's a lot of us. And my company itself, we travel nationwide working with owners and management firms to help increase their occupancy, both their physical occupancy and their employment occupancy. So I think I got a little room to speak on this. Okay. So I don't want to offend anyone, but this is my take on it. Okay. I feel that we got here because we don't care about people. And that may sound harsh, but it's a fact. Okay. We have underpaid our employees since I can remember. And I've been doing this thing, since I was a little girl. I mean, literally. And, let's think about it. People can choose to work elsewhere for much more money with way less responsibilities. Look at maintenance. We require them to know HVAC, plumbing, electrical, basic maintenance work, preventative maintenance work. We want them to be on call as much as possible. We want them to move quickly, and we want them to have great customer service, right? So these same maintenance technicians can go down the street. I mean, literally sometimes directly across the street and get paid double, if not more, just to know one single trade, and then not be required to do anything else. So everything that we ask our maintenance teams to do, that's like it's out the door. They don't even have to know that knowledge. So we have to be more competitive. And yes, I know we offer great perks, right? But so does the trade jobs. They offer great perks too. So all of these people, these other trade companies that they're running to, they're getting a lot of the same perks. And so basically, I'm saying that we have to have a heart, and we have to start treating people like the heroes that they are. Property managers are therapists, they're bankers. Sometimes they're a whole new set of parents for many of our residents. And the government classified us as essential workers. So let's treat our people like they matter. You know, we have to make a difference in the world. And I think that making a difference by caring and, I mean, sincerely caring and being concerned about, our employees, their families and their well-beings. How are you doing today? Just being like sincerely concerned about people, it's going to make a world of difference, and it's going to improve the labor shortage. But until we do that, we're going to be in the same situation, because all we're going to do is we're going to try to recycle people. And I got to say this, we are, one thing that we do is we have, before our people, our trainees can get certified, before any of that, in the apprenticeship program, they have to work on property. And the stories that you hear were from the people walking in. I'm gonna tell you this one because it touched my heart, like, because it's my son. Okay. My son, my Joshua, he's 18 now, but Joshua was going through the training program. He's going through the apprenticeship program. He worked on property this summer, and, he loved it. He's like, this is great. Right. And, some properties he'd go to and he'd say, oh, wow, the people are wonderful. They're amazing. Right. And our people would get hired on at these sites. And then other sites he would go to, he would just say, I cannot believe people treat people this way. Literally one day my son came in and he was almost in tears. And he said, Mommy, how do people treat people this way? How do they not care? And he spoke about little things. They were on site and the staff ordered pizza. The maintenance team came in, they told him, get out of here. I mean, it's like just bridging that gap. And, they didn't know that this was my son. They didn't know any of these, who he was or what was going on. But he took a step back and he said, the way that they treated me and the way that they treated other people, I mean, they were literally, he said, Mom, they identified us as the temp. They would not say our names. They, any of this. And, he was just floored. He said, and then there was a guy who came in and he had a nice truck and he had this and he that, and the whole attitude changed. We just have to treat people as equals. Number one, we have to treat people like they're real human beings. Because number one, it's the right thing to do. Number two, you never know who you're entertaining. On this one particular property, the team that we sent there, I mean, they were amazing. They were amazing. We bring in industry people who have years of experience to assist with the training. And these guys were on point. And in the end, they wanted to hire them all. And they needed people. They needed people. And you know what? They didn't work there. They rejected the job. They went to another industry. They all are working with an HVAC company now. And that was about 8 people on one site. And this one company is still calling us today because they want people and they need people. And the reason why they're not being successful is because they don't know how to treat the people. So until we treat people with concern and care and actually care in real life, this is what we're going to get. So you ask, is it going to stay here until we know how to behave? Yes, it will stay. So I know that sounded harsh, Adrian, but you asked.
Chiccorra, I can't even begin to tell you how much I truly appreciate what you just said, because I'm having similar conversations with, all sorts of industry leaders, people in the industry. I get direct messages on LinkedIn of people saying, I wish I would have like your post. I'm afraid that my company is gonna retaliate against me because I liked a post that's not in line with, their corporate, slogan, their corporate thinking, because you're speaking the truth. So I think until we start speaking the truth, until this becomes a mainstream conversation for all of us, honesty, we're not gonna make any type of progress. we're just gonna be believing our own press and lying to ourselves. And this is not how you solve problems. The first step that you gotta take is, just open up and be brutally honest. Be brutally honest about what the situation is, and then we could start build upon that. If we don't acknowledge our faults, our shortcomings, we will never gonna get into a better position. That is the very first step, and it's not a necessary step, it's a mandatory step. If we're not passing that stage in the conversation, we never gonna see any improvement. We will always be stuck in the past, and things will only get worse for us. So I truly appreciate the insight. It hits very deep. It's very important to me because I'm seeing the same things I've experienced firsthand. I have had people that have experienced, people share with me all the time. Again, not publicly, but I always behind the scenes communicate with all sorts of people in maintenance, especially because you did mention maintenance. There's no reason why we shouldn't treat our maintenance personnel, our coworkers, the same as we treat everybody else. They're not second-hand citizens. There are people with 10, 15, 20 years of experience. Those
That's
people
right.
are bringing to the table, most of them, over average skills than any other person. And most people that are actually looking for management to gauge their performance, they really can't because they don't have the type of background. So they don't understand. In order for someone to become a very successful, very good maintenance technician, very good at what they do, it takes 5, 10, 15 years of hard work and learning. And then you don't treat anyone like that with disrespect. And I wanted to say, regardless of their skill set, you do not treat anyone like that. You do not mistreat anyone. You shouldn't. Like you said,
That's
let's
right.
look at ourselves as our fellow humans, as human beings, not just someone that's disposable, like you said, temps is the temp. So whenever someone looks at and says temp, is like they're here for a short period of time, disposable, and then they work for us. Like we pay the company, we could just bring more temps in. Well, that only goes so far, right? Because
Right.
you're
Right.
gonna run out of temps, and you're gonna run out of people that want to put up with with bad attitudes and disrespect.
You're right. And you know what, Adrian, I can say this too. And I think that we may all be guilty of something, right? The one thing that I can say that I was guilty of, and this was literally over 20 years ago, over 20 years ago, I was a property manager, and I will never forget this. His name was Lenny. It was my maintenance supervisor. I was on property and I had to get these units turned. Okay. And at that time, there wasn't a lot of, scheduling out and all of that. The maintenance teams, they had to handle it. And I will never forget, I was sitting at my big desk, right? Now, mind you now, I was extremely young. When I started in this industry, I was 17. I started at 17 as a property manager. Now, it's common to hire the youth now. You've got people in their lower 20s. It wasn't common back then. Okay. It was not common. And my maintenance supervisor, of course, was a lot older than me. I think he may have been, in his 50s. And I will never forget, I was sitting at my desk, just thinking I was the boss, right? And units were not getting turned. I was furious. I said, listen, what is going on here, right? I said, this doesn't make any sense. And so Lenny told me, Lenny said, Chiccorra, I tell you what, okay? Because he wasn't even disrespectful. He didn't, because I can admit I was disrespectful. I should have sat him down and I should have talked to him and asked him. I was just like, this is unacceptable. And I said, what did you do today? Right? And he told me, I retiled an entire bathroom. Okay. I took out the tub. I did the install. I retiled. And I said, well, that's all you did? I remember, I will never forget it, the attitude and everything. And he said, I tell you what, he said, this is what I'm going to do. The next time I have to do that, I'm going to come to you and you're going to do it with me. How about that? And I was like, sure, not a problem. Okay, because I'm going to prove you wrong. Well, a few days later, he came to me and he said, all right, tomorrow's the day. And I said, sure, not a problem. Looking forward to it. I could not wait until the next day. I literally came in. That's when overalls was a thing, right? I had on my cute overalls. I had my hair up. I was excited. I just felt cute, right? Like we're going to get in there and swing a hammer. It was work. I could not believe it. It was serious work. And it was unreal. I was so floored, but you know what? That was the day that I fell in love with maintenance. Okay. And that was over 20 years ago. Everything changed for me because I had a total different respect. I realized at that time I stopped and I looked and I said, nothing moves without maintenance. We're not making money. We can't move people in. The owners report to me everything. My whole setup changed. Okay. I went to ownership and I asked them, can we add a bonus in there? Because our company wasn't providing bonuses to our maintenance teams. But I was like, look, can we provide a bonus because of this? We would not be successful. And it pulled away from our team. They should have just added it, but in my opinion, but they added the split and people were a little upset. But my maintenance team was happier and we got a lot more done. So when I talk about this and I speak on it, I'm not just, my son, near and dear to my heart, this is what he wants to do, right? He wants to be an engineer and he wants to have all the certifications. And it killed me, like to my core, to hear my baby say all these negative things about the industry that I love, right? But I tell you what, it's so deep and it's so real because I experienced it. And I know that I was one of those people that did not have a heart. I didn't care. I was just like, I was about the numbers, I wasn't like rude, just like, outright. But that day, I was off point. I was so out of line and I respect him. I don't know if he's even still around. Lenny, if you're there, thank you. Because he changed my world. He did. And maybe we all need to have experiences like that.
I think we must. If we haven't, we must. And I really hope that every manager takes some time out of their day to actually just team up with their maintenance team members and see what they're going through. They don't have to spend an entire day. Spend an hour or two. See what they're up against. See the challenges that they have. See how easy or hard. Gauge it with your own eyes, not with what you believe it is, what you see it is, because what you see, that's not going to be a lie. That's going to be a truth. It's going to be the telling right there. And not only that, but you could also use this time spent to go back, take them to lunch, and provide some positive feedback. How did they do in their interaction with a customer? Is there any opportunity for improvement in a positive way to help them become better? Because like you said, one of the things on top of all the traits that we expect them to be proficient at, it's the customer service piece. We want them to be customer service oriented. But how do we expect them to be customer service oriented if we don't spend the time to actually invest in them, to actually tell them what they did wrong, what they do wrong? You can't really determine what they do wrong based on an angry resident only that comes back and says that, resident service sucks and, your people are rude. You have to be out there to experiencing yourself and then provide constructive feedback and build upon that. Build your people up. It's more than necessary. Like it should be a must for all managers.
That's right. And training is necessary, Adrian. Don't forget about that. Everything changes. Look at the technology. Everything is changing. So it's not just about having those physical skills anymore. They also have to have the mental too, right? They've got to, some people are not computer savvy. And you've got to know how to build your teams in order to make them successful. So I absolutely agree with that.
you just mentioned training, Chiccorra. My next question is gonna be about your apprenticeship program that has trained and employed over 600 people since 2019. This is an impressive number. Very, very impressive. Could you share some of the elements that help you build this program at such a large scale?
Well, I tell you what, that and thank you for saying that, because it's taken a lot. It has most definitely taken a lot. And I would say the biggest thing for us that has allowed us to be successful is having a heart. And that's something that everyone can have, right? You just start with having a heart. We've been teaching and training leaders since 2005, and we only started offering certifications in 2019. So we were doing this pro bono, right? So when we were bringing people in and getting them employed, we brought them in for training classes. That's both the leasing classes, the maintenance classes. But with the apprenticeship, it's strictly maintenance. I'd say that one reason why we're so successful is because we took a very long, hard look at our students and their challenges. And we started creating solutions and chipping away at those challenges. And we started eliminating barriers. So we found solutions for transportation, lack of money, childcare, not having uniforms, all those things. We found solutions, right? And we found that if you remove those barriers, then people will do their part because they truly want to be successful. And that's the secret to our sauce. Once you can bring people in and show them what they can become, help them to become that, and they really want to become that, they really want to be a success and be able to do for themselves and their families, then that's what it is. And then you implement everything else. You have to make sure that the learning is fun, make sure that you offer different styles of learning, and you've got the hands-on and you've got the classroom, so you've just got to keep it interesting after that.
So much true. It hurts. It really hurts. But it's absolutely necessary. And thank you for speaking it up.
Yeah, absolutely. I can also say this. So we have a partnership with Goodwill. We've got a facility in the Triad location in North Carolina. And we were sitting with a board, and they said to us, because we had to pull out our stats and see how things were going. And they were like, whoa, okay, so this is over a 98% success rate, right? This is some of the highest we've seen in the country. This was, sitting with the apprenticeship office. And they were like, how did you do it? Well, this is how we did it. You remove all of the barriers, right? Because oftentimes people want to enhance their lives. They want to be successful. They want to get these certifications and they want to be employed. Well, we're offering every aspect, right? We're offering the training piece. We're offering the certification so that you can validate that training, and we're getting them employed. And if they don't want to be employed, we're helping them to start their businesses. So you provide a solution. It's a total solution.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I hope we get more audience right here, and then they get inspired by our model, because it's just an amazing story. I'm so glad that you came over. I'm just so glad, because it truly is amazing, and it's a testament that you just have to be in a mindset of finding solutions, not instead saying why we can make this happen, say we'll find a way to make it happen. If there's a will, there's a way. We will find a way to make this happen, not that this is why we can make it happen, so it won't happen.
And you
Uh,
know what? One thing I can say is that, for me, my passion is helping people. It's always been. So to be able to help someone, and you see them to light up, and, you have people who say, I can go to bed and know that I can wake up and feed my family, right? Those things, to know that you're making a difference in someone else's life. One thing, it was one of my, our first major, for me, successes when I saw, wow, we are really doing it, is we got a contract. It was a burn unit in Arkansas, and the entire team, right? All of our subcontractors, they were all students from the class, and they had all started either they were working with us, or they started their own companies, and we got to contract out to them. That was when it hit me, like, right? That was my wow moment. We are really doing this, and people are really being successful.
that's an amazing story, Chiccorra. Thank you for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Now we go to the rapid fire questions. I have a few rapid fire questions for you. Ready?
Okay.
Books, Chiccorra. What do you like to read? Fiction, nonfiction, professional books. What are your favorites?
Well, I'm gonna tell you about one in particular, okay? And I'll say this: a lot of people don't speak on this book, The Art of War. That's my book. Sun. His first name is Sun. The last name is TZU.
Sun Tzu.
And
Sun Tzu.
yep. So, are you familiar with the book, Adrian?
I am.
Oh, okay, good. I love it because business is warfare. Okay. And that book, I mean, it is a constant reminder. I drive, I listen to it. I love it. So that's the one book I'm gonna put out there for everybody.
Next question. How did a failure or apparent failure help you to build future success?
How did a failure or apparent failure? You know what? I'm gonna give you this one. So it gave me the courage, and I'm gonna speak about it without going too deep into it. It gave me the courage to speak up and be me. Okay. I hired a guy because I felt as if I wasn't being heard and that I needed a male representative. And that's sad, but it's true, right? With all the success and the things, that I've done in the maintenance world, I was feeling as if it was male chauvinism. It was like, okay, little girl, sit over there. And I felt like I needed a male representative. And let me tell you, when I brought him on, I did everything, and people loved him. The articles with his name on them, I wrote them. The classes that he taught, I designed them. Everything was me. Well, eventually, that partnership, it ended, right? Because it was just like, it just was not good, and I felt like, God, this is a major fail. But you know what? When I did that, I knew that I had put myself into position. I wasn't going to take no. I knew that the people liked the information. I knew that they would listen because they were already listening. So I just continued the conversation. So I just pushed forward, and I'm happy that I did. So that was probably a big fail that was not a fail at all. I beat myself up for it for a little bit of time, but it became a success.
Next question, Chiccorra. In the last 3 years, what new belief, behavior, or habit has most improved your life?
Oh my gosh, that's easy. I speak my truth. Before, I'm still mindful about how I say it, but I absolutely say whatever I want to say. So, and it's great because now people don't have to wonder, what I need or what I want. They know. And I don't have that heavy weight on me holding me back. It is what it is, and it feels good putting it out there.
Chiccorra, when you lose your focus, when you feel overwhelmed, what do you do to get back on track?
I think about people, and I think about my children, I think about my husband, and so many others, including, the thousands of people that we employ, have employed, and will employ in the future. I strive to be great for all of them because they're depending on me to be successful. If I lose track, we lose business, and then people don't eat. So that's my thing. It'd be people.
Laura, we're about to bring this conversation to an end, but before we do, is there anything in particular that you wish we would have talked about during this conversation? Any questions that you wish I would have asked and I didn't?
Any questions? Golly gee, I think what's the future for the industry? How do we pivot in this industry? I think maybe it would be great to speak about what are we doing outside of the industry to make an impact, and also what are the thoughts on how can we bring more people into our industry. I'm big on the Second Chance Act. So speaking about things of that nature, I think those would be great topics.
I would love to have you back down the road if you obviously agree to come back and
of course.
And start with those conversation topics. They're great conversation topics. They're very important. They need to be talked about. Chiccorra, in closing, I'd like to give you the opportunity to say anything that you would like to say about yourself, about your business, and then how can people reach out to you, how they can contact you if they want to.
Okay. Well, I am Chiccorra at OccupancyHeroes.com. CHICCORRA, OccupancyHeroes.com. Very unique name for a very unique person. I would like to say that we think of ourselves, our company as a whole, as community builders. We are not just here for ourselves. We're not just here for the owners. We're here for the people. So if you're looking to make a difference, if you want assistance with making a difference, then we can help with that. We are a total solution. Like I said, we make money. We bring it in. So if you need help, call a hero. Hire a hero. And I'm on LinkedIn, all social media platforms.
It's such an amazing way to close. Hire a hero. I love it.
Thank you, Adrian. And thank you for having me.
No, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. I can't thank you enough for being in and for speaking from the heart. It's so important, and we need more of this to become a part of the mainstream conversation, because without the conversations, we're not making progress. And this is a great way to start. Again, thank you so much for coming in. Hopefully, a few months down the road, we could get you to come back and do a second episode.
That would be great. And let me put this out there too. Women, let's talk about women in the industry. Okay, that's a biggie. I kind of touched on it a little bit, but that's a big one too.
I actually have my first guest was Kara Rice, my first guest on a show, and I had several other leaders. They're women in the industry. They're such a wonderful part of everything that's multifamily, and such an important part, a crucial part,
that's right,
an essential part.
That's right.
So
right.
absolutely, we will include that into our next conversation.
Thank you. And entrepreneurship, like, I'm gonna keep throwing them. You better shut me down.
Keep going, please. Keep going. We don't have a time limit here. Keep going, because I love it. I already know what my next show is gonna be with you. So only part of it. It doesn't mean that we close now.
Well, very good. Well, thank you. I wish you so much success. This is great. It's amazing that you do this. You give people a platform to speak their truth and for people to hear it. And that's amazing.
I thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. I really mean it. It means a lot to me. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for taking about an hour of your day today to watch this episode. Again, thank Chiccorra for being here, for being a wonderful guest. I hope to see you guys back here soon for more episodes.